We all know that deep, chronic, and truly exhausting despair. It is that heavy feeling in your chest when it seems like you've tried absolutely everything the modern wellness market has to offer. You've been a soldier in the war against your own body. You fanatically count every single calorie, logging every morsel into an app. You spend long, grueling hours at the gym, pushing yourself through workouts that leave you drained. You follow the strictest meal plans: paleo, keto, low carb, intermittent fasting. Yet, the numbers on the scale simply refuse to cooperate. They stay frozen, as if mocking your effort. We live in a hyper-visual society, a world that relentlessly demands instant, visually perfect results. It is a culture that often refuses to accept genetic predispositions or hormonal imbalances as valid reasons for struggle. Therefore, it is no surprise that when a new generation of weight loss drugs appeared, the entire world went into a frenzy. The beauty industry, social media, and mainstream media presented them as the Holy Grail, the ultimate miracle in a small glass vial. They promised a solution that would melt away decades of accumulated weight without the sweat, without the hunger, and without the struggle. But behind these shiny headlines lies a complex and dangerous biological reality. The pharmaceutical industry wants you to believe that one tiny injection per week will solve every metabolic problem forever. Today, we are opening the door to the uncomfortable truth. We are looking at what is actually happening at a cellular level, and more importantly, what happens when this artificial miracle suddenly comes to an end. Have you ever wondered exactly how this praised liquid forces your body to drop its reserves so rapidly? To understand this phenomenon, we must first acknowledge the achievement of medical science. These drugs are a stroke of biochemical genius, but only when used in a clinical environment under strict medical supervision. These medications mimic a natural hormone called GLP-1. Evolutionarily, this hormone tells our brain's satiety centers that we are full, and it drastically slows down digestion. For people suffering from severe, genetically determined obesity or type 2 diabetes, these drugs are not just an aesthetic fix. They are a ticket to a longer, higher quality life. Independent studies prove that these compounds stabilize insulin spikes and reduce systemic, chronic inflammation. This is a massive life-saving benefit. However, this is exactly where the dangerous turning point occurs. This powerful hormonal tool was designed to function alongside a radical change in lifestyle, not as a quick fix patch to hide short-term aesthetic flaws. What is actually melting inside your body when the scale shows that dream number, but you feel weaker than ever? When you use these systemic drugs without professional guidance, you create a destructive storm within your own organism. By artificially suppressing the natural appetite, your daily caloric intake drops so drastically that the body enters a state of clinical shock. The scale shows rapidly decreasing numbers, but you are often unaware of what is actually disappearing from under your skin. Modern science reveals a terrifying fact. If these injections are not strictly accompanied by high protein intake and consistent, heavy resistance training, nearly half of that weight loss is not fat at all. You are losing vital, life-sustaining muscle mass and bone density. Your terrified organism, in a state of chronic starvation, begins to literally disassemble and destroy its own most important tissues to obtain the basic energy required for survival. This is a severe medical condition known as sarcopenia. You're not just getting leaner. If you don't protect your muscle mass, your body can quickly lose strength and energy reserves, slowing down your metabolism. Muscle loss is a ticking metabolic time bomb. Your skeletal muscle system is the largest and most critical engine of your entire metabolism. It is the primary system that stabilizes blood sugar, absorbs excess glucose, and burns calories even when you are fast asleep. Every single gram of muscle you lose means your basal metabolic rate slows down catastrophically. When you use weight loss drugs without a protective strategy, You aren't treating the root cause of obesity. You are simply masking symptoms with aggressive chemical force while dismantling the foundation that protects you from weight regain. This is the fastest highway to metabolic bankruptcy. You are essentially trading your long-term health for a short-term pant size. What happens when you reach your target weight and stop the injections? This is the part the pharmaceutical representatives never mention. Long-term clinical observations reveal a brutal statistic. The majority of people, within the first year of stopping the medication, not only regain all the weight, but also put on additional, even more stubborn kilograms. This is not just a simple yo-yo effect. It is a total and uncontrollable metabolic catastrophe. During the rapid weight loss phase, you lost a massive part of your muscle mass. Therefore, your metabolism is now significantly slower than it was before you started. When the artificial hormone leaves your system, your brain is flooded with natural hunger signals, but they return with double, uncontrollable force. This isn't a lack of willpower, it is an evolutionary biological hurricane. Your broken metabolism is suddenly forced to face a ravenous hormonal appetite. You return to your original weight, but your body composition is now far worse, more insulin resistant, and physically much weaker. Is it possible to escape this cycle? Yes, but it requires a metabolic off-ramp strategy. This plan must not start when you stop the drug. It must begin on the very first day of your first injection. Did you know that your gut bacteria can produce the same weight loss hormone for free? While using these drugs, your absolute priority must be the restoration of your gut microbiome. Diverse gut bacteria, when fed specific plant fibers, are your body's only natural factory for producing GLP-1. When you eventually stop the synthetic injections, your body must be prepared to take over. This requires a conscious, massive intake of diverse vegetables, powerful prebiotics, and fermented foods in every single meal. The single greatest mistake people make is the naive return to old, sedentary habits. People believe they have cured their metabolism, when in reality, they have only suppressed it. To save your new body and ensure obesity never returns, you must become the chief architect of your muscle mass. Regular, heavy resistance training at least 3 times a week and a minimum of 30 grams of high-quality protein at every major meal is your biological survival protocol. These drugs are just a temporary scaffold. The real miracle is your ability to build sustainable, healthy habits that will serve you for the rest of your life. Do not hand over the responsibility for your body to a single injection. Use it with wisdom to build a fortress that will never need external chemical help again.